losing my voice with the ASPCA. I work for the ASPCA, and I'm here with Hampton's Television, and we're at the Champagne for Horses party for the ASPCA, and Jill Rappaport is with me. She's our co-host of the party, and I have Mike Gaynor here, who's also a horse owner and animal welfare supporter. And I wanted to ask people at the party, why is the ASPCA important to you, and what does horse welfare mean to you? And I'm going to start with Jill Rappaport and see what she has to say.
I don't think your show or your station or everything is long enough for what I have to say, but this is something that is so near and dear to my heart because, as you know, we're at the most beautiful horse show in the world, the most privileged, the most magnificent, majestic animals, but yet we know the other side of that, Valerie. We know the horses that are so much less fortunate or have had careers like this and were given up, left literally just to fend for themselves because if some people think if they're no longer viable, they're no longer worthy of having a wonderful life. Well, thanks to the ASPCA, you are doing something about that. And the Hampton Classic opened literally their doors to embrace this idea of horse rescue, horse welfare. And there are so many wonderful animals out there, and even 3, 4 years old right off the racetrack that to their owner might not have any more use, but to someone like me, bring them on, we love them. And older horses who had a wonderful show career, they need a home, they need a place to just have someone love them and give them peace and joy. After all, they've given us so much love, peace, and joy. I know firsthand. Yep. It's wonderful.
Very well put, Jill. Thank you so much. And Jill was the MC of our ASPCA Adoption Day here at the Hampton Classic on Monday. It's the first time we've ever done this event. She was phenomenal, and she messaged perfectly for the ASPCA's cause, which is basically rescue, repurpose, and rehome horses at risk. There are about 100,000 horses that are sent to slaughter every year because there aren't enough homes for them or people just gave up on them for whatever the reason. We're here to say that's not okay. So we're celebrating horses and we're trying to do something about the horses that need our help. And I'm going to ask Mike Gaynor, who owns how many Clydesdale horses?
I have 3 Clydesdales here out in the Hamptons.
And one of them we used last year for a behavior demonstration with Dr. Emily Weiss, our behaviorist. That was a horse named after you, named?
His name is Mike as well. I'm just slightly larger than him.
Now, let me ask you, why is the ASPCA important to you, and what does horse welfare mean to you? Why is it important to be kind or compassionate?
The ASPCA is it's a voice. It's a voice for the horses. The horses can't speak for themselves, and you folks are their voice out there. You're their advocate, and you're out there, making their statement and caring for them, taking a position that they can't take for themselves. So the ASPCA is doing a fantastic job. My family is a big supporter of them, and your family should be too.
Well said. Thank you, Mike. Mike is a huge fan of horses and a great guy, and he lets us borrow his horses to do all kinds of demonstrations to show positive reinforcement with horses. It's a training technique that our behaviorist and the ASPCA advocates. And we thank Mike and we thank Jill. And Jill, what else do you need to say? Because I know you need to say something.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm very shy. No, I mean, obviously it's a big commitment to make. To take in a horse, it does cost a lot. We're not trying to diminish that reality that is very expensive to feed and care for an animal, but everybody, if you can't take in a horse yourself, if you don't have the room to be able to do that, everybody can do something. You can donate to the ASPCA, to their Equine Fund. There are so many amazing people out there opening up their homes, their hearts, their wallets to these animals, so just do something. And at the smallest level, anything will make a difference, but everybody has to do something. They're worth it. They give back so much, and we need to take care of these majestic animals for the rest of their lives.
Thanks, Jill. And we're going to talk to some more people here at the Champagne for Horses party that the ASPCA is throwing at the Hampton Classic today. So stay with us. Valerie Angeli for the ASPCA and Hampton's Television. And I'm here at the ASPCA Champagne for Horses party, losing my voice still. And I'm here with Christie Brinkley. We are thrilled that she's here celebrating horses with us and trying to spread the word about horses in need and why it's important to be kind and compassionate. And what does the ASPCA mean to you, and why is horse welfare important to you?
Well, the ASPCA is another way to spell compassion, really. And, you know, we get so much joy from our animals and from our horses. And, you know, as a little girl, I know, you know, riding horses was just a dream of mine. And then I had the opportunity, and I've gotten to spend so many amazing hours on horseback, and some of the best moments of my life. And my horse is just, you know, given me these amazing experiences, and it's so important that we give back to these animals that do so much for us, whether it's a quiet trail ride or an exciting day at the racetracks. You know, the horses need to be protected at the end of their lives, and you know, they've loved us. We need to always love them too. So. I've been very interested in what happens to horses when, you know, people can't take care of them anymore, or when they're finished with them at the racetrack. And it's, you know, I feel very strongly that all of the sports that use horses should create a fund, almost like a social security fund for horses. And the ASPCA is, you know, playing a role of securing these horses and giving them that security that they need. And I so appreciate that. And that's why I wanted to be here today.
Christie, thank you so much. That was so well put. You gave me goosebumps, I have to tell you. And the reason that we're here is to message exactly what Christie just said. This is the most beautiful horse show in the world, or one of them anyway. Some of the finest horses on earth are here, and they're very lucky. They have grooms, and they're pampered, and they're well cared for. So often people don't realize, you know, or they don't think, what happens to them at the end of their careers.
Yeah, and you know, with today's economy, you know, a lot of people have found themselves in a position now where they have to let go of their, you know, cherished, beloved horse, and it's simply a practical matter. And so the ASPCA needs your help now more than ever, because there's more horses that need to be cared for. And so I really applaud you. I applaud you for the work that you do, and I appreciate it as an animal and horse lover. I just think it's so important and so wonderful. So.
Thank you so much. And what Christie is talking about the ASPCA doing is basically our Equine Fund. And we'll talk to the head of our Equine Fund next. Her name is Jack Schultz. And she is the one that gives grants to horse rescue groups across the country that are helping save horses. Because of the economy, because for whatever reason, just like in an animal shelter, as you know, because you rescue animals too, dogs and cats are homeless through no fault of their own, often because of somebody's financial situation, or somebody just went off to college and can't keep the horse or the dog or whatever it is anymore, or somebody's outgrown the horse and is no longer interested in that level of horse. But these animals, as you said, deserve a second career, a second chance. They're not garbage because somebody doesn't want them anymore for whatever the reason.
Now, there is a lot of cruelty going on that you know, maybe we should make people aware of the fact that some horses are being killed, are being slaughtered, and it's simply a reality that, you know, we don't want to think about. I mean, but we have to, because, you know, as compassionate people, we cannot allow our, you know, beloved four-legged friends to ever be treated cruelly. And it is happening. You know, there's quite a few ways that it happens, and but this program is going to keep that from happening to horses, and that's what's important, and that's why we need to support the ASPCA.
Yes, and as Christie said, there are about 100,000 horses every year that wind up at slaughter in Mexico or Canada. Horse slaughter technically had been made illegal in the United States, so there are no slaughterhouses in this country right now. They've all been closed down. But that doesn't mean that the horses that are auctioned off don't go to slaughter in other countries. It happens. We need to realize this, we need to face it, and we need to do something about it and be responsible and accountable as horse people and just as people with a heart. And it's time for us to step up and do something, and the Equine Fund is doing something. And we would love for you to contribute anything you can. And I don't know if you're aware that we now have a text to donate program, even if it's only $10. If you text the word horse to the number 25383, $10 will automatically go to our Equine Fund, and that helps rescue groups everywhere.
It's important because, you know, $10, when there's so many people that are doing it, it makes such a huge difference. So I really, that's a great program. Maybe you should repeat that number again.
It's text the word horse to 25383. And if you want to know other ways you can help horses, if you log on to our website, our new designated page for horses, it's www.aspca.org/horse.
And what's that number again at the end? Horse to number
25383.
383. That's 25383. It needs a beat, so you remember it.
You heard it from Christie, and now you got to do it. It's as simple as that. Christie, before we go, just tell us about your horses. I know you're a horse. You have a wonderful horse.
Yeah.
What's his name? How old is he?
I'm down to one horse right now, and she's in retirement, and she's, you know, in a pasture here in the Hamptons, having a nice time. She gets lunged, but not ridden anymore because she got a little arthritis in her hip, and so. And I'm looking to bring her to my property with a little, you know, turnout shed or a little barn or something, whatever I can manage to get on my property. But I don't ride her anymore right now. I haven't had as much time to ride lately between 3 kids and a busy career. But when I do get back in the saddle, it's always some of my best days ever. I mean, I love it. I've spent many, many happy hours out in Montauk, riding around, you know, the trails around Squaw Hill and down to the pond and down to the beach. Fantastic, just wonderful.
So as Christie says,
this is a cutting horse. Her name is Good Bar Miss, and she's a cutting horse. She's a quarter horse, but she's a cutting horse, a lineage. And we've done a lot of cutting. That's my thing. I haven't done it in years, but I love riding cutting horses. I think it's so exciting. And I got to participate in the National Cutting Horse Association Futurity Championships, and I won one year the celebrity division. But I had lots of people that have been on horses their whole life in that division. And so I was so proud. And another year I came in 4th place. And both times that I competed were absolutely thrilling, and I'll never forget it forever. Punk Carter trained me for it, and he's an amazing cutting horse trainer. So I was with the best, and it was absolutely thrilling. And you know, when things lighten up again, I can see getting back into the cutting horse world, because that is really thrilling riding.
okay, so what you're saying now is that even though your other horse, the horse that you have now, has arthritis and really can't be shown or ridden that much, you still are letting that horse live its life out happily and in peace and in comfort the way all creatures should. You're being responsible for this horse at all stages of its life.
Yes, that this horse, Good Bar Miss, has been amazing. I mean, nothing short of it. She's just wonderful. We've competed together in the cutting horse shows, and we've also been on every trail through Montauk. And we can be galloping along, and a deer will leap out of the bushes, and she's just like, okay, I'm not going to panic. You know, she's just solid, and she's given me so much joy, and so the least I could do is give her a beautiful pasture and, you know, exercise and good food and, you know, whatever she needs right now to live out her days, you know.
Good for you. Well, you heard it from Christie Brinkley, the proper way to care for horses and retire a horse. And that's why you're here celebrating horses with us today. And we thank you so much for being here and for everything you're saying. It's right on board with how we think. And I can't thank you enough.
Oh, thank you. It's a really fun event. We're watching the jumpers, you know, as we're standing here sipping champagne. I mean, it's a joy to be here and a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. ASPCA icon, Joseph Pentangelo, who's actually a reality TV star, even though he's a little too shy to say it, or too modest, should I say. He has been on the show Animal Precinct.
Yes, I have.
And it was on the Animal Planet Network, and essentially it was about saving animals. He's one of the men who worked for our law enforcement department, and he specializes in horses. Used to be an NYPD mounted police officer.
For 12 years.
And he is very passionate about horse rescue and animal welfare. Joe, tell us why you're here today and why it's important to be kind to animals and good to horses.
Well, it's important. After all horses have done for humanity, after all horses have done for people, they've more than paid their dues, and many horses today are suffering. They're the victims of abuse and neglect and abandonment. And it's important that the ASPCA is showcasing the fact that many of these horses are available for adoption, and they certainly need a second chance. People would like a second chance, and a lot of horses who have been abandoned or given up by their owners certainly need a second chance. Those horses certainly have many useful years ahead. They can brighten people's lives, and the ASPCA is trying to bring the plight of these horses to the public's attention.
Well said, Joe. And if I may add, Joe carries a gun, so if you don't do what he says, you'll be sorry.
Just a prop.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Okay, thanks, Joe, very much.
Well, thank you.
Jack Schultz, who is the head of the Equine Fund for the ASPCA. And as we said earlier, the Equine Fund is the fund that is a lifesaver for a lot of horses, a lot of rescue groups across the country, and gives grants to organizations that are doing the critical work of saving lives of horses who are at risk. Jack, can you tell us a little bit about the Equine Fund and how the money helps horses and what type of horses that the fund helps?
Okay. We help horses of all sorts, whether they're retired race horses, whether they're draft animals that can't work anymore. We help the wild mustangs and that are out west. And sometimes it's just somebody's pony or mule that they can't keep anymore and they're looking for a new home for. So the money goes to all sorts of different groups across the country. Last year we were very proud to be able to actually give grants to 41 states in the District of Columbia. So we almost got all 50 states, and already this year we've managed to hit at least 3 of those states that we didn't get last year. We're on target to get about give out $750,000 this year, and it really all depends on the generosity of our friends and our donors.
So if people want to help horses, as we know they probably do, they're here at this beautiful show because they want to help horses. How can they help? What do they do? If they want to give money to the Equine Fund, how would they do it?
They can contact us at www.aspca.org/horse. They can certainly come and visit our booth at the Hampton Classic, but if they miss that, then by all means visit our website and they'll have a number of options, and we're always welcome to talk to them. And gifts of any size are more than welcome.
Fantastic. Champagne for Horses party, and excuse my scratchy voice. I'm Valerie Angeli, and I am here with Marty Bauman, who is the head of public relations for the, what is your title, Marty? I'm sorry.
Hampton Classic, horse show, press officer, public relations director is good.
Okay, and Marty knows everybody.
And Yankee fan. And fan of Champagne Louis Roederer.
Yes, and speaking of, we have Charles Ferrara here representing Louis Roederer, who is our champagne sponsor for the event.
16 years now, by the way. It's our 16th year, the official champagne sponsor of the Hampton Classic, so we've got a lot of tradition now.
Well, I want to thank you so much for providing the champagne for this incredible...
Great cause.
Tell us why you think it's a great cause, if you would.
I own a dog, and I don't know horses that well, but to me they're big dogs, and anything you can do for animals, it's a worthy cause. It's a worthy cause. And the Roederer family for years have had horses in France, so I know they would want me to do this.
Oh, what a great thing to say, and what great champagne. We appreciate it so much. And Marty, tell us what you think about the ASPCA at the Hampton Classic.
Well, really, no one has ever done more for animals than the ASPCA, and it's coming up 150 years or so.
145, so almost.
Almost 150, and really the advocates for humane treatment for animals, and we feel it's most appropriate the ASPCA is here at the Hampton Classic. We're thrilled that you're here. We know that our horse show community are tremendous supporters of the ASPCA, absolutely endorse and support what you do, and we're thrilled that you're here with us.
Thank you so much. Well, you couldn't have heard it for two more important guys here at the show. I know Charles is popping corks all over the show, and Marty knows everyone under the sun. They both do. And if they say the ASPCA is a great organization, believe them.
It's the truth. It is absolutely the truth. People should support, because when the money goes to the ASPCA, it goes to protect these animals and help these animals to live good lives.
Good job, Marty.
Here again at the ASPCA Champagne for Horses party at the Hampton Classic, and I'm here with Steve Nislik from an organization called New York Class. Steve, can you explain to us what New York Class is and what is the mission of New York Class?
New York Class is a nonprofit organization that's supported by business people, equestrians, the ASPCA. Its mission is to replace the carriage horses in New York City with all-electric replica antique cars.
Why do we want to do that?
New York City is not a place for horses. There's 211 horses crammed into 4 very small stables. They work 9 hours a day. They don't have adequate water. They're not fed properly. The death rate is very high. They last about 3.5 years on the street, and then they go to slaughter.
And as we all know, as we've been talking about, the ASPCA is very much trying to get horses from not going to slaughter, and the Equine Fund is funding organizations that rescue horses. But Steve is actually coming up with a real creative and interesting idea to get horses off the streets of New York, carriage horses that maybe in the 1800s, when it was the only mode of transportation, shouldn't be on the streets today with traffic and fumes and really horrendous conditions. And horses are hurt doing this, aren't they?
Yes, they're hurt. People are hurt. It causes traffic problems. It causes environmental problems. But it's a horrible life for the horse. It's a horrendous place for a horse to be.
Now tell us, you have a rescued horse or two. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I rescued a carriage horse. My wife and myself rescued a carriage horse 2 years ago. She was 7 years old. She had foundered on both her front feet. She was headed to slaughter. We turned her out for 3 months. Fortunately for her, her feet healed, and now she's a wonderful, great riding horse, and she's with the rest of our horses out in New Jersey.
Well, another stellar example of horse rescue at its finest, and people who are taking responsibility for their horses at all stages of their lives, which is what we're all about. Thank you, Steve, for doing some really great things and for being a supporter of the ASPCA and for being here today.
Right, and I'd just like to thank the ASPCA. They've been great in supporting this effort, knowing how difficult it is and knowing some of the obstacles, but they've just been marvelous. So thank you, ASPCA.
Thank you. Okay, so I've got some great kids with me here today at the Champagne for Horses party at the Hampton Classic, and they just asked me a great question. How do you adopt a horse that needs a home? And we're going to give them some information about that, but first we're going to find out who these lovely girls are and why they want to adopt a horse. Work it, girls.
I'm Julia. I'm Bianca.
And I'm Gabriella.
Okay, so tell me this much. Why do you want to adopt a horse?
Because they need homes, and I love animals.
Oh.
Well, I kind of feel bad because, you know, like they're really sick, you know, and so sad that
like everyone said, you know, it's terrible that they're either abused or something's happening to them. But I think it's just really great.
Okay, well, these are three of the most well-spoken girls who have such a big heart, and I'm really impressed. And there are lots of ways to adopt horses, and one of the ways you can find out horse rescue groups in your area is to go on www.aspca.org/horse, and from there you can find out information and be linked to a group called Homes for Horses, and it's broken down by state, horse rescue groups in your area, and you can see what they have, and a lot of them have ponies and horses of all kinds, and you can talk to them and find out how you can adopt and how you can save a life. Would that be good?
Yeah, great.
That'd be terrific.
Okay, well, you heard it from these three girls. It doesn't get better than that. Thanks so much.